Hey babes in Bookland, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing the makeup book tag. I have no idea who started this originally, but if I find out, I'll put it in the description box below. There's been several different ways that people have done this, so I'm just going to kind of do it the way that I've seen people do it. So without further ado, we'll get started. First question is primer. Pick a book that left a lasting impression. And the book that I'm going to pick for this is Of Love and Other Demons by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I'm just going to put this on. I read this book when I was first about 14 years old, and just so cool. Very sad and very kind of twisted. For me, it taught me a lot about the complexity of relationships, and not just romantic relationships, but also friendships and familial relationships, people's relationships to their faith and their religion. So a lot of stuff to unpack in it, and I love it. I'd recommend it to anybody. Question number 2 is foundation. Choose your first favorite book in a series. Now, I don't read a whole lot of series, but of the few that I've read, I'd say my favorite first one is Wicked by Gregory Mcguire. I've never seen the play. I've listened to the audiobook. I've read the book probably half a dozen times. But I think he writes women so well. Plus the story was just so engaging. For those of you who don't know the story, it's about the Wicked Witch of the West and sort of her beginnings and her relationship to other people in Oz. I just think it was such a clever story, and I love the way that it integrated a lot of relevant politics into the time. So I'm using a couple shades darker, maybe a shade darker, to combat winter face. I don't know if you guys suffer from winter face, but I do. And it just gets very, very sallow and kind of yellow. So what I do is use darker foundation and then just buff this out. So I'm just gonna buff this out. Next question is concealer. So a character you wish to get rid of. Now, a character I wish to get rid of is the grandmother in Flowers in the Attic. She was just a horrible human being. And I think with a lot of villains, you kind of understand a reason why they behave the way that they do. But with her, it was just, there was no reason. She was just terrible to no end. This is what you do with it, right? Got to get that Kardashian V going on there. Yep, Cover spots. Is that right? So, from what I can tell, you're supposed to let all this bake, right? Is that what the kids are doing these days? Baking? Let it all just kind of marinate together, sculpt it out. I've seen people do this before. Cool. All right. Blending's key, folks. Blending is key. Yeah, that's nice. I'm not deliberately skipping powder. We're going to do that at the end when everything's on. So, eyebrows. Book you think everyone should read. For this, I'm going to suggest Kindred by Octavia Butler. I just read that this last month for the first time and was absolutely blown away. It is up there probably with the best 5 books I've ever read in my life. I just think her voice in the genre of science fiction is so unique, particularly with this book. So I would have to highly recommend it to people who are interested and maybe have not had the best luck with science fiction in general. So I'm just doing a little bit of sculpting, nothing too outside of my regular brow line. It's important to make your eyebrows expressive. This one got a little bit messed up, but down, there we go. And then you can do something, what's cool about this is that you can add like little hairs
like this to make it look really natural, like it's your own hair. No one will ever know the difference.
Full brows are in, you guys. So we're gonna make sure
That we tack that down with a lot of gel.
you want those things to stay down. Perfect, you guys, perfect. Next question is eyeshadow. Name a book that has your favorite color on the cover. So for this one, I'm gonna have to go with Exit West by Mohsin Hamid.
At least in the American, with the American cover, it has these gorgeous, gorgeous blue colors that sort of fade into a aubergine purple.
I'm gonna do kind of a sunset eye, try to at least. All right, onwards. Eyeliner, a dark and mysterious book. So for this, I'm gonna have to go, I think, with Uzumaki by Junji Ito. Really, I've talked about this one before. Super creepy book, but I think if you're into horror, Lovecraftian horror and just sort of unexplainable, sort of creepy things, that is a really good thing to pick up. The artwork, like I said, is so good. He just has a gift for kind of setting up these very disorienting environments, which I think just are so important to making horror successful. Let's make it a little more dramatic. Let's just kind of wing it out. That shit's on fleek. Next question is mascara. And this is asking for a long book. So for me, I think I'm gonna have to use the Junji Ito book for the same response. So this one came right around 648 pages, which I don't generally tend to read very long books. I've noticed, to my dismay. I hope to try to fix that a little bit this year.
All right.
And I know this isn't part of the official set, but I did see a couple people doing a category for eyelashes, so I'm going to do that too. The prompt for this is to choose a book that you wish was longer. And again, there's an author that I just read recently, Clarice Lispector, who wrote a book called The Hour of the Star that I wish was a lot longer. I'm not going to talk about it too much here because I do plan on doing a full video to explain my experience with her writing. Ugh, got it all over.
Supposed to go right on the lash line, right? He did it. These sons of bitches.
Next is blush. So a cringeworthy romance. I don't tend to read a lot of books that have cringeworthy romances in them. I think a lot of the stuff that I read and pick up has pretty like normal but complicated, and I don't know, it's just not cringeworthy. But maybe if I read some other types of books, like say YA fantasy, I might find some better examples of that. Oh my God, for this I would have to say Clockwork Crown of Crows and Claws by B.H. Cornhole, right? Like, where's my CCOCAC trash? Up top, that's right. So anyway, the kiss between Zanzi and Horace was so awful. It was just like I just don't even have I can't even, like literally, I can't even right now. Lipstick is your favorite book kiss. For this, I would say my favorite book kiss is probably Act 1, Scene 5 of Romeo and Juliet. I think that kiss where they just touch hands, this innocent intimacy like that of maybe your first crush or your first love when you get to touch them for the first time. Just very sweet. I've always really liked that. I'm just gonna kind of overline a little bit here. Gotta make them pop, you know? Ooh, my God, this is so pretty. It does pop. Plump, plump. I like it. And then highlight. So a book that brightened your day. For this, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and go with a short story. So I'm gonna go with Monstro by Junot Diaz. And I love this because I just think that it really brightened my day when I read it, even though the story's not something that's very bright. It's post-apocalyptic and kind of a downer. But what brightened my day is that people have the balls and the courage to write stories like that, which I just really, really appreciate. I think just generally he's such a wonderful, wonderful writer, and I'll read anything he writes. Make sure we put that right under our cheekbones to kind of just sort of highlight the cheeks a little bit. Right on the nose. It's so cute to just look like a fucking majestic snow deer all the time. Oh yeah, make sure you get the lip too. You really want that nice cupid's bow that we just drew on there. You want it to look like kind of sweaty, but not sweaty. So cute. So the last part is powder, and it's to name your favorite last series. For me, I'm gonna go with The Medusa and the Snail by Lewis Thomas. You guys have heard me talk about that one before. It's the last in a series of essays, the second half in the last series of essays. And he just does a really, really beautiful job of blending science and life and his observations from his medical practice into very readable, digestible essays. We're going to be very careful not to disrupt any of the makeup that we've done. We're just going to kind of set things blending. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so proud of this look. It's kind of a look. It's sort of like a nighttime dramatic look. Cool. Did I mess it up?